Okay guys, so quick update on the E46 build. I had to figure out, using an ODB2 tool, basically a diagnostic tool, that, well, the upstream oxygen 2 sensors are toast. Yeah, they're toast. So we've got to replace them. And the only way I was able to come up with that conclusion was with a handy little tool by, and get ready for the cut, a handy little tool by a company called Innova. This is the SD Advisor, model number SD35. So shout out to Innova for sending over basically a diagnostic tool for cars for me to figure this out. Otherwise, I'd have to take it to a mechanic and they would charge me like $150 and probably tell me the wrong thing because they would want me to replace everything, right? So yeah, let me show you how it works, and then let's replace the O2 sensors and hopefully clear the error codes so there's no service engine light on the E46 anymore. All right, let's do it. So here it is, the SD35. As you can see, it's already plugged in to the ECU of the E46, and so it can get a reading on what's wrong with the vehicle. So it's pretty simple. Once you plug it in and you have your ignition on, or rather your key on, right? Let me just zoom in and focus on this. Okay, here you go. Basically, all you've got to do is hit OK, let it confirm what vehicle you have, and there you go. There's the error codes. So basically, we need to replace the Bank 1 Sensor 1 O2 sensor, which is on the passenger side. And then it's probably throwing up the second code that's coming up, which basically is saying that the fuel is too lean. So yeah, if we can fix these things and get them cleared, hopefully we can pass smog. Otherwise, I'll have to make another video. Right here and here. The last owner of this vehicle did not properly thread them alongside the banks. So they're kind of just hanging over the ignition coils and the spark plugs, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing, but it could be done in a more orderly way. So if our cables are long enough, we're gonna try to do that with the new O2 sensors. If they're not, well, we're just gonna have to do it like this. Yeah, I don't know how long this has been in, but this admittedly very used and very worn O2 sensor does not read any error codes, but it's best practice to replace both of them at the same time anyway, so that's what we're doing. So out with the old, in with the new. We did not go OEM for this one because this is really just going to be a beater, but we did go A premium, so better than some generic brand with very little quality assurance. Perhaps the pair was like something like $40 on Amazon, which, yes, again, not OEM, it's not Bosch. But I reached out to Bosch, and Bosch didn't send any, so, it is what it is. Also, you might note that if you look at these two pin connections here, the new ones actually are all matching over here. And honestly, the wiring looks a little better too with more shielding. So yeah, we're going to install this. We're going to apply some anti-seizing compound around the threads, and then we're going to get it installed. In case you're wondering what we're using KZ copper anti-seize lubricant. You use them on spark plugs. You can use them on O2 sensors as well. And we're just taking the brush it comes supplied with to apply a very, I would not say generous, a very conservative amount, but only on the threads, not on the actual connectors or the actual wiring itself, just along the threads here. It comes with some installed already, but you might see that there are some gaps missing. So we're going to fill those in and just be very careful not to get that on the actual cutouts of the sensor. And then brush it over, like so. All right. So after that, don't use a ratchet wrench to get it back in. You can hand screw it and then tighten with a ratchet wrench, which is what we're about to do. So if I can get in there with my hat and all, just lean in, hand screw, going clockwise until it seats itself properly. Okay, so you can see that we're in there now with the hand screwing portion. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure not to thread around this cable but underneath it, going straight to the the O2 connection right here. Make sure you do these one at a time so you don't confuse yourself. This one's a little short, but it'll get there. So I just got to make sure that that it's on the correct angle. Click in, and there you go. Just got to make sure it's a nice tight connection without damaging any of the existing wiring. And there you go. And then now we can tighten using the bracket. So again, we're just going to sit the bracket down like so. Threading it through the wire. Just being very gentle and very careful. Switch the ratchet wrench to clockwise motion. There you go. Using that universal flex mount to get in at an angle. And then tightening. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not. And start her up. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So no service engine warning light, which is fantastic. Now what we have to do is connect the code reader, wipe the codes, just to be safe. Just to be thorough. We want to do a thorough job here. So I wouldn't replace the sensors and not clear the codes, even if the engine light doesn't appear anymore, because, well, that won't help us pass smog now, will it? So let's do that. Let's plug her in. It powers on. You can also put batteries in this so that it can just work on its own, but it gets powered from your ODB2 port anyway, so there's really no need, and most of the time you're only going to use it connected to a vehicle anyways. So auto link in progress, and while we wait for that to connect, I'm just going to walk around and do some housekeeping. So we can see here it says BMW 3 Series. You just hit yes, this is your vehicle, and let's go to ODB2 menu, erase VTCs, and hit mode 4, and then just wait for it to wipe. And then we'll figure out if there's anything else that needs to be corrected with the vehicle. Erase was successful. All right. And now if we take a look at the dash, you'll see there are no codes or no warning lights except brake pads, which we have those. We just got to get those replaced. But yeah, sounds good. All right, see you on the next one.